Hey everyone, Bill Parish here from GTT Audio, and welcome to the channel today. Well, we're back here with Rufus Smith, and reviewer for EnjoyTheMusic.com. Thank you for having us, Rufus.
Hello everybody, it's good to have you back, Bill. It's always great to see you.
Rufus, tell everyone, give everyone a little history. I mean, when did you get into this? When did you start reviewing for Steve? Did you review for anyone beforehand?
Well, I actually got started in audio more from the music side than I did from getting into the actual equipment.
Well, that's good. You're a music lover, which
right,
I know.
Right, which
Yep.
I started is, and it all happened because we had a friend that had a classical record collection that he had started buying records in the 50s, and I don't know how he did it, but he's the only person I've ever heard of that had the complete Mercury and RCA living stereo and living presence catalogs.
Wow.
And he helped me put my first system together from pieces that he had upgraded, but he never sold anything, he just kept it. So he put my first system together and then kind of gave me carte blanche to borrow whatever I wanted out of his collection. And then when I started college, I met a gentleman.
Oh, so that was high school?
This was in high school.
All right.
And then when I started college, there was one shop in Tuscaloosa that sold audio equipment, and they were, I would say, mid-fi to lower high-end in their products lines. Well, the owner of the shop, living in Alabama, loved to deer hunt, which meant that the shop was closed on Saturdays because he was always
Really?
hunting on Saturdays. So he and I kind of worked
Well,
out.
and you're in Tuscaloosa, which is
It's
kind
it's-
of a religious holiday
Anyway, yeah,
in the fall every Saturday anyway.
Right. So he was either football or deer hunting.
And this was back in Bear Bryant's days,
Yes,
correct?
this was at the end of Coach Bryant's era. And as I was saying, we worked out a deal where I would come in on Saturdays and I would basically run the shop. And the deal was I basically worked strictly on commission, but and being Tuscaloosa's, Saturdays were slow. So it was a great time. It was a great time for me to study, and I would listen to music. He had a very good collection at the shop, but he also had a large collection of the Absolute Sound and Stereophile going back to issue 1. And so I spent a lot of the time that I should have been studying, reading the Absolute Sound and Stereophile and just gaining knowledge that way.
Sure.
And after I graduated, I bought my first system and just kind of I went with used that for quite a few years, and then after the internet got fired up, I met online Tom Miller, who had just left the Absolute Sound, and Tom was starting his own magazine.
I remember you wrote for him,
Right.
along with Dick Diamond from YG Acoustics now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Tom asked me to write for him, so that's where I got my start. And
Which was what year? I mean, how long have you been writing?
this would have been
We talking mid '90s, early '90s,
early '90s.
early '90s.
Yeah, early '90s. And I
So 30 years you've been doing this.
about 30 years. And I then went to the magazine that Miles Astor started,
That's right.
Ultimate Audio.
Which was one of the first magazines I ever placed an ad in.
Right.
Yep.
And
That was a beautiful magazine.
it really
Miles had.
was.
Yes.
It really was. And then after I left them, Steve Rockland asked me to write for Enjoy the Music.
That's where you are now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been there.
So why are we here today? What are we here to talk about?
The Audionet Humboldt.
An integrated
Yeah.
amplifier. You know, it's I don't know. Can people get excited about an integrated amp?
This one, absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is very special. This is
Yes.
part of Audionet's flagship line, along with the Stern and the Heisenberg. It's in the same chassis as the Stern, which this chassis is sitting in the Smithsonian on display. It was industrial design by Harmut Esslinger, who was responsible for some of the early Apple products, and you know, just look him up. I mean, the resume is incredible.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a little bit of technology in here.
Yes, and this is just a special product, and I've listened over the years to various integrateds, but I never found one that I really thought that I could buy and live with and be happy with long term until I heard this one. This piece is absolutely amazing what they have been able to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's got Heisenberg technology. It has Stern technology, all in a single chassis, which is a real backbreaker to try to lift.
Oh, I can imagine.
But the point is, I remember popping the cover for you and showing
Yes.
you the inside. I mean, there's no air in there.
No.
It's jam packed full of components.
It's beautifully laid.
I'll actually pop a shot up here on the screen, and you can see what it looks like inside.
But sonically, it's amazing.
Well, what's it do that's got you impressed?
The thing that impresses me the most about the piece is that it doesn't add anything and it doesn't take anything away. It literally disappears, and you don't. If you close your eyes, you don't have a sense that you're listening to a component.
That's what it is with Audionet for me,
Right.
especially at this level of Audionet. It's a live performance in front of you.
Exactly.
It has a way of removing all what this is one piece. I guess this is the combination of the amp preamp, but to me it can remove the source, the speakers. It just becomes a musical presentation in front of you that is as much visual as it is auditory.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Explain to people what I mean by that, if you can. Otherwise, I will. But I mean, it's just so easy it just sculpts images.
Right. As you were saying, you actually feel like you're at a live performance, and is it is resolving the very, very finite, lowest level, and I mean that not in terms of where it's falling on the scale, on the musical scale, but the detail that is just below the surface that is there, but you really don't know it's there. This resolves that. And I'm going to use an example that a lot of people, I haven't heard anybody talk about in years, but the Weaver's recording from
Oh, yeah, the live at Carnegie Hall.
the live at Carnegie Hall on I believe it's on Matilda. One of there's actually some poor guy that's blowing his nose in the front. I mean, in the front part of the orchestra. I mean, in the front part of the
Seating, yeah.
in front of the seating, and
the audience.
I mean, it's clear as a bell with this thing, and it's just I have to admit I crack up every time I hear it, but the musical details, everything sounds the way that you expect it to sound. Snare drums you get that sharp initial attack and then the natural decay that it has. Everything is just rock solid.
Well, when I look at a manufacturer to represent, I sort of look for the same things.
Right.
And so, like we talked about when Joe was here 2 weeks ago, we talked about his cables. Audionet's very similar as far as how that noise floor is just absent, not even there.
Right.
You don't even think about it. It just, it's gone. And then you have music. And what is the music? It's, of course, we have tonality. I mean, you know, we got to have perfect tonality or we throw it out the door right away.
Absolutely.
But you get the resolution, the dynamics, the you know, like you said, the speed. You know, the attack on the people talk about fast, but I've never gone to a concert and actually thought about fast. Wow, that was fast. I mean, unless at Rodrigo and Gabriella,
Right.
you know, or Gabriella and Rodrigo, whichever. I saw them, and the way they play the guitar is pretty quick. But I think people know what I'm talking about here in audio, and it's like, oh, that's fast. I need a fast amp, or yeah. No, but it's that attack. That attack. That's the speed that we're talking about.
Yes.
The transient response, and Audionet has the best transient response in the industry. The slew rate is the quickest.
Right.
And, you know, the specs on Audionet, as you know, are just, you know, phenomenal. I mean, they've yeah. I mean, I don't need to do it. Go to the website and look at it, but you're not going to find better specs on anybody else's electronics.
I agree completely with that statement.
But it doesn't sound like an engineer made it.
Exactly. It actually sounds to me like a music lover designed it.
Yeah, they call it, you know, it's you know, the science, and they call them machines, but I almost think it's musical instruments they're making.
Right. I can agree with that. Tell me a little bit about their design philosophy and what they are really looking for when they develop a product.
Well, they're making musical instruments, musical machines. I mean, it's all the stuff that we've been talking about. I mean, if Audionet has a house sound, it's perfect tonality, extreme dynamics. I mean, they rule the bottom end.
Mm-hmm.
They have incredible extension on the top, but it's never sharp or harsh. It's the dynamics, it's the transparency, the resolution. Mm-hmm. But what I was going back and saying is it's as much visual that it's three dimensionality is what it is.
Yes.
It's they're able to carve the sound stage in a three-dimensional way, mm-hmm. where it's solid state, right?
Yes.
And I've had people come in and demo it. They came in to demo a turntable and thought that, well, what's the rest of the equipment? I'm sure it's tube, but it's not soft. But right. It has that tube-like qualities in the mid range.
Right.
I mean, this is what Audionet is. This is it. Their house sound is Carnegie Hall. Their house mm-hmm. sound is Music for Rhine. Their house sound is real, right. Live, natural, right. Natural sound.
And as we all know, with quite a few components, they actually get in the way of the music.
Oh, so many things leave a footprint. I like to say they leave a footprint on things. And
this piece does not. As we've said before, you really don't even realize that you're listening to a system.
Yeah, it just gets completely out of the way.
But it is a piece I'm absolutely impressed with it. It's honestly the first integrated that I've heard that I honestly could live with, and not being a reviewer, but if I were looking for a piece to build my personal system around, this would be something that would be on my short list of amplifiers and integrateds to consider, because it's just a marvelous product.
Well, thank you, Rufus. I'm looking forward to reading the review when you publish it with Enjoy the Music. I'm sure you'll get into more detail.
Absolutely.
And just really appreciate you putting in the time and the effort for this.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to bringing it down here and installing it. And
yeah, I would hope in the future you'd install an elevator for me. Bringing this up those 2 flights of stairs is it's a bit of a backbreaker, and unfortunately I've got to take it back with me this trip. But it's and I'm not looking forward to carrying it down.
I know. Well, though, at least this time I can help you carry it down. Last time, not so much, but we won't go into that. But I'm going to be very sad to see you take it.
Well, listen, thank you for tuning in. You got to see a little insight into Rufus. You got to hear a little bit about the Humboldt, the reviews coming. If you like this, please give a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to the channel, comment below. I try to answer everything, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you again, and please come back.
Will do.
Definitely.